Hey guys, how's it going? MasterBucks here. Welcome to the third season of the Bradford City Road to Glory career mode. We have made it. We are in the Premier League, two back-to-back promotions, and have a look at this. Look at the company that we're in now. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Cardiff, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Everton, the likes of which we have never really had the, pleasure of playing against unless we made it really far in a cup competition. Let's keep on going. Liverpool, City, United, Newcastle United, Manchester United, everyone. So many good teams, so many great games coming up. I cannot wait. We finally made it. Some talking points before we advance on through with my, usual start of season, traditions. I, of course, lost Krishantis for 3 months, and it's more like 2 months. After the final game of the season, Krishantis got injured in like the 90th minute, and it was a pretty bad one. It was a knee lateral cruciate ligament or something like that, but we've lost him for about 2 months. As a matter of fact, let's have a look. He will be fit in 8 weeks. So yeah, pretty much 2 months is left until we can get him back. There's a whole month without any games and then another 2 months. So we're probably going to get him back in around about September. That means he might miss the first 5 or so competitive games. And as well as that, guys, the fact that he actually picked up an injury in the final game where he was doing okay, but maybe not necessarily enough to push him over the limit for him to get votes. That game could have been the difference between him winning the J-Bucks medal and not. And the fact that he picked up an injury meant that anything that he would have done extra in the time that he would have had, after getting injured. Now, having a look at our finances, we've got a transfer budget of 3 million, which I don't think I'm going to spend at all. I'm just going to be really playing the wage game like I have been for most of the career mode. But as well as that, I also have $15,000 of a weekly wage. So, that being said, this is the team, and I'll just get it up in a second. This is the team that I have for the Premier League. Does that look like a Premier League quality team? You need to have pretty much 70s across the board, and they'd need to be mid to high 70s for you to be like a decent team. And, this is like a very bottom of the barrel sort of team in terms of the Premier League. We've got a 66 rated keeper, is our best keeper right now. Still, that being said, we've got a relatively strong starting 11 considering from where we were. We've got 2 great players in Armstrong and Pacheco that are just outright best players compared to everybody else. We, of course, have a few other players that are injured as well, like Krishantis. Bench looks okay, got some decent players there, but our reserves, this is a concern. We only have, like this is it. We've got 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, 2 defenders, and then the goalkeeper. We need a little bit more depth in like pretty much everywhere, I reckon. So what I've elected to do is this. I'm going to just dedicate pretty much all the transfer budget that I have into wage. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to immediately go into the free agents because I know that there are some actually really good, decent players in there that are around the 70 mark. And if we can sign a few of them, or even around the high 60s, and even if we can get those kinds of players for hopefully not too much, we could be able to keep them, just, play them, or whether we play them or not, it doesn't really matter. It's, just for the just so we have the depth. And if anything happens, if players need to be rotated or players get injured, we have the depth that we can actually put out there and replace. So what I'm going to do is just go into the finances. I'm dedicating pretty much all the transfer budget that I have to wages. Maybe not all of it, but majority of it going to wages. So that way, I'm just going to go into the free agents, and have a look for some players that are around that 70 mark, low 70s to high 60s, like even high 60s. Just so, even if we play them or not, it really doesn't matter. Just so that we have a little bit of depth there in case they need to play. So in case any players need to be rotated, anyone gets injured, we have someone there that we can replace in the starting 11. And there's also a secret agenda to this too. Not only am I adding depth into the team for the time being, but in the next transfer window, I can then just sell them and hopefully make a lot more money than what I have now, than the 3 million that I have right now. And by doing that, I'll also not only add to my transfer budget, but increase the amount of wage budget that I have as well. So come January, we can play the pre-contracts game again and get some real good players in, and not just, spend money on just one player paying their transfer budget, like, actually having to pay a club considerable transfer fee. No, we can just get a bunch of really good players on a pre-contract. That's what I'm thinking. But before we actually go into the free agents, I'm going to have a look through my team, see if there's anyone that is a little bit expendable. We can sell them. We can sell one player, and as a result, sign numerous others. I think that's just a bit of a fair trade. And I think it might actually be Ryan McGowan. I know I'm a little bit stretched when it comes to fullbacks right now. I've got Yedlin, Meredith, and Darby, and that's pretty much about it. And a couple of other centre-backs that can play at that position. But Ryan McGowan, 25 years of age, 72 rated, worth 2.5 million. I've already got DeAndre Yedlin, who I'm just going to be giving games to whenever I can. And really, I could just rotate him with Darby if he gets tired ever. because Derby can play both right back and left back. So Ryan McGowan at 2.5, I am going to transfer list him. And by selling him, not only do we get 9k of wage back, but we also get the 2.5 extra. So that will really add to the wage as well. That means we can sign even better quality full free agents. So if you don't mind me, I'm just going to go through all of the free agents, and when I find someone good, I'll let you know. Roberto De Grotti, a left midfielder, 19 years of age as well, so relatively young. He's got some okay stats in there, some relatively decent strengths. And we look at his stats, more, well-rounded. His physical attributes look okay. Not great stamina or strength, but whatever. And we've also got mental attributes and skill attributes. Now, this actually looks okay for a player, and as well as that, he's got 5-star skiller. So it'd be pretty cool to have a 5-star skiller in the team. But he's one player that I'm looking at maybe signing. The next one is a central defensive midfielder, Boubacar Bakayoko, and he is, again, quite consistent with his stats. I like that. I like that. So very consistent physical attributes, mental attributes, and even his skill attributes. They look really, really good, really decent. And, he might be an interesting pickup. I'm hoping high 60s here with just going off those kinds of stats. Again, relatively young at 21. We can even throw him back at a centre back if we need to. So that's good. Can play multiple positions. I reckon I might try to go for him as well. Alvaro Ampuero, another left midfielder, but he's got a real face. So that actually, that makes me pretty happy. So anyway, let's go on. Physical attributes look pretty good. He's got nice stamina as well, which I love. And as well as that, mental attributes and now skill attributes. Once again, pretty good skill attributes. There are a few things that he's not great at, but they're more sort of like his defensive and long shooting and stuff like that. But as a left midfielder, he looks pretty class. And again, at 22 years of age, I reckon that he could be another player that we might be looking at. Paulo Hurtado, a left winger now this time. He's got some very nice stats, good physical attributes, and then the skill attributes. He actually looks pretty class, but that's the thing. He is actually really decent, because if you go to approach to sign, he's worth 35,000 wage compared to the other three players that I've shown you that are, less than 10,000k. So if we were to get him, I'm expecting him to be higher than 70 rated, but again, that's a big wage for him. But then again, I'm hoping his value should be pretty good as well. Alejandro Chipchio, again, he's the second to last player that I've found, and he's got some very nice physical attributes, and then the mental attributes, and then the skill attributes. Now, no sort of light greens or anything like that, but again, he will be another class player with consistent skill attributes. I'm expecting him to also be around about that 35k mark, and wouldn't you know it, he is. So he'd be another really big purchase. And the final player I found is Jimmy Dermaz, who is a Swedish player with some very nice consistent stats. I will get him up in a second. We see this, good pace, very nice pace. Nice, good stuff for a winger. Very aggressive. And then the skill attributes. And he's got some great, nice stats. He's got light greens and even a dark green in there for his shot power. He looks like a class player. I'm expecting him to go for about 35k as well. Let's have a look. Wouldn't you know it? Yes, it is. So, really, we'd only be able to sign one of those really expensive 35k wage players and then try to get the other players for less than 10k. Unless we sold like Ryan McGowan or someone else and brought in just that little bit more wage needed. So, some good news. We have a few players that have accepted their contract offers, a few of the free agents, and we've got a few that have declined. They just want to know their squad role. Fair enough. I'll just give them a squad role, work out something, and yeah, that'll be it. We also have a monthly scouting update as well. Let's have a look at this. I sent away my not great scout to Germany, so hopefully he can find me some good players. That's not really what I'm looking at the moment, with a max potential of 67. He doesn't look great either. He doesn't look great either. And yeah, and he doesn't look great either. He does have a nice potential at 82, but then again, I just don't think that's a player that we're looking at. But whatever. Another transfer offer for another player. This one's Aaron McLean. Now, he's 64 rated, a 32-year-old striker. He'll seriously retire almost any day now. I think next season, if he isn't retired. No, he's not retiring this season, obviously, but next season he'll definitely retire. So I'd like to get something for him. We're on the verge of signing some free agents. And I reckon, yes, we probably will get rid of McLean because, again, 64 rated, 32 years of age. That's not really Premier League quality. We are still going. And we have Ryan McGowan, the first transfer. Who has put down the offer? It is Southampton. Wow. And, oh, wow, with poor form, unhappy, that's not great. 2.1 they want for him. I might see if I can squeeze the 2.5 that is actually fucking worth out of Southampton. You are freaking loaded with cash right now, Southampton. You just sold your entire team. You can afford to buy this guy for an extra 400,000 bucks. Let's go. And we did sign Aaron McLean, so he's the first transfer of the season. We reviewed your asking price for 2.5, and we are going to match it for Ryan McGowan. So Southampton will pay the 2.5, and so long as the deal doesn't, so long as it falls through, it all works out fine. then we will have added a bunch of cash to our transfer budget, and we can really go for some of those better, 35k wage players that I was looking at during free agency. I'm just waiting for the sale of Ryan McGowan to go through before I do actually sign any of the free agents. They've all accepted, and there it is right there. We end up getting the 2.1 that Southampton were paying originally, but there we go. And Paulo Hurtado accepted his contract with a role that he's happy with. So we can go get signing some players now. So as you can see there, we have just under $130,000 of remaining wage budget. Of course, there are only 3 players there that I can actually go and sign right now. The rest of them just said, you know what, bugger, I'm done waiting, before we eventually said yes to their contract. So I have to resubmit that contract offer. That's fine. That won't take any time at all. And anyway, let's have a look at the 3 that are still here. We've got Ampuero, Chipcheo, and of course Hurtado. Now, I really want to get Alvaro Ampuero, even though he's one of the cheaper ones. So I'm going to sign him pretty much straight away. Let's go. The next player is Alejandro Chipcheo, who is a 35k wage player, of course. So you'd expect him to be pretty good. Low 70s, I'm hoping as well. And yeah, he looks like a really class player. Had some good physical attributes, some very, very consistent technical attributes. So I reckon I'm going to go with him. And the next player is Paulo Hurtado, who I am interested in signing. I think he'd be a good pickup. But then again, we are also chasing a player called Jimmy Durmaz, who really took my attention. He pretty much plays the same position as him. So I might just wait on Jimmy to come, and then we'll see what he's like. But let's have a look at the overalls of the new signing, shall we? We've got Chipcheo, who is 73 rated. That's a nice signing, even though he is 26 years of age, a little bit older, but still 73. Can't argue with that. And Alvaro Ampuero, who is 69 rated. That's okay too, considering the wage we paid for him. And we now resent the contract offers for those 3 free agents that eventually just said bugger it. They were done waiting, so we had to resend the offer. They've all accepted them. One is Umberto De Groggi, and he looks all right as well at 19 years of age, only 6k, so that's really nothing. We'll confirm that. The next one is Boubacar Bakayoko, and again, I think he's only worth 6k. Yep, his wage is only 6k as well. We'll definitely be able to afford him, and he's only adding to the depth as well. He should be a high 60. And then there is this man, Jimmy Durmaz, a left midfielder, 26 years of age. He looked class. He had some awesome stats. I'm really excited to get him in the team. And would you look at that? We have 37k left of remaining wage budget. So I could either try going for Hurtado again, or I can keep that wage. I can keep that money for now, just in case I need it elsewhere. The new players' ratings are 65, okay, for Umberto De Groggi. We've got Bakayoko at 66. And Jimmy Durmaz is the highest rated player of all the free agents we've signed at 74. And let's look at those skill attributes. They have some very nice skill attributes there. A couple of facets of his game he's not fantastic in. As a matter of fact, he's quite poor in. But there are some stats that pretty much are very important to being a left midfielder that he is very good in. And looking at my reserves, there's plenty of players, decent players in there. But I think we've got the wage. Let's just go for Hurtado anyway. And really, if we absolutely need any more cash, then we can just sell a player. We've got plenty of time left. Over a month left in the transfer window. We've actually received an offer for Jason Kennedy. And now that we've got a ridiculous level of depth, we can actually, I reckon we can probably get away with selling him now. 28 years of age, 6-1 rated. Instead of going to Aberdeen, it looks like he's going to Hearts. Again, doesn't matter. He's pretty much ending up in the same league. So we're getting rid of him as well. Now another offer, this time for Kyle Reid. And he is worth, a decent amount of cash. But again, I reckon he's been good. Only 27 years of age, so we still got him for a while. 65 rated. Again, not great, but we'll keep a hold of him. We do have a few left midfielders now, to be totally honest, but I reckon we'll just keep hold of him for now. And here we are, back with the transfer confirmation page for Paulo Hurtado. 35,000 worth of wage. We've got the wage. We're going to sign him, and that is going to really complete all the free agents that we're signing at the moment. We've added a considerable amount of depth to the team for the Premier League upcoming season. And there he is, Paulo Hurtado. We just signed him as well, 73 rated. And he's, he looks really class, looks like a decent player. So good, as a matter of fact, that he's actually away playing for his country. And I like to see that in my players. So awesome. So that's good. He's 73 rated, still relatively okay. I guess not too young, but still at 24. He's one of the younger free agents that we picked up that was really class in their 70s. So that's good. And that is going to do it for all the free agents that we're going to sign pretty much in this transfer window. So we've got a considerable amount of depth now, which is good. And as well as that, come the January transfer window, we can sell a few of the players that we're not really playing and hopefully get a considerable amount of cash in and maybe go for some really class players in pre-contracts. I've just gone back into the transfer list of my players. I'm not going to intend on selling anyone, but I do think that I might send a few players away on loan. Any player that would, would benefit them. For example, like Sam Gregory, who was a player that was in my youth academy like last season, but in the middle of the playoff championships for the championship, like, he comes to me and says, oh no, I want to be in the first team. I'm like, could you have picked a better fucking time? Seriously. But anyway, Sam Gregory, I'm going to send him away for a short loan. Hopefully, I think that should help him because I'm not going to really going to be giving him too many games, I would have thought. McBurney, I reckon, as well. I'm only going to make them short, not for the whole season, for pretty much everyone. I reckon the same can probably go for DeGroggi or whatever. Another short list, I would think. Another short loan. And I reckon they'll do it for them just so it's free. So I reckon that took a long time, but I think we might be done with transfer business unless we get an offer like that for Rafael Devita, who really is 27 years of age, 61 rated. He's pretty much the exact same situation as Jason Kennedy, a player I'm really rarely giving games to. He's getting older and older, not getting any better. I think I'll just offload him as well and just bring in the cash. So yeah, that's another sale. That's another sale. And yeah, now this time I can almost completely guarantee that that has got to be the end of all the transfer business. Apart from, of course, all the loans that we're talking. It's just the loans, I swear to God. And Gillingham wants Sam Gregory, so we'll send him away. So we've made it to the first friendly of the season, guys. I reckon this is where we're going to stop it because, you know, it's been a bunch. I've been absolutely spamming you guys with transfer action, but it's just the stuff that I've had to try to do to, you know, try to make the team as competitive as possible when it comes to the Premier League. So yeah, I reckon that's going to do it for this episode. We'll hopefully get the first game going in the next episode, but until then, I'm yours again at the MasterBucks. Peace out, and yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.